preparing now to stream live. So, welcome to this segment of the Mindfulness at Lunch, and today's topic is going to be healing with kindness. So I'd like to first hear from you. How are you feeling in these very uncertain times? Meaning that there's so many changes, so many rules, guidelines, government policies, all being introduced, and they are all affecting havoc in this world. I'd like to hear from you how you're feeling right now. Drop into this place in the chest, because that's usually where our feelings are being felt, and just connect with the feeling here. Like, how do you feel? Feeling normal, great. Oh, thank you. Comment here says you're looking good. Yes, feeling somewhat anxious. Thank you for that comment as well. So I'm back in the office. Today is a lovely Monday. For me, I'm glad to have a job. I'm glad to be at work and to be of service to the community, and also to my staff who look to me very often for guidance, support, and leadership. So I like to get a sense of this usefulness, that I'm useful to people in my office. I'm useful to my family members whom I can support as well, and to all of you. So I'd like you to also share this sense of usefulness. Who are you useful to? And to remember that at work, you are useful to people who need you to help them, or to do your part in order for them to do their job as well. And useful in mentoring, in guiding, in setting direction. Each one of us has responsibilities. So is to take those responsibilities seriously and to action them accordingly, in order for us to be that one piece of jigsaw of a larger picture. Okay, so I'd like to invite everyone to sit up, straighten our posture, connecting with our shoulders, and let's start with rolling our shoulders. So let's bring our shoulders back and roll them forward. Let's do this 3 times and feel if there's any tightness or tension in the shoulders. Good. And now changing direction. And now let's check into our neck, and just turning our neck to one side and to the other side, and feel the stretching of the muscles on the other side of our neck and the shoulders. And let's shift it again. And one more time. And now turn our face to the right. And slowly turning to the left. And to the right. And the left. And gently rotating our head and feeling the muscles shifting and changing direction. And coming back to the center. Good. And now I'd like you to drop your ear once again to the shoulder, and the opposite arm to raise it slightly, and then to lower it. And feel like there's something at the end of our arm that we're holding in the hand and it's weighing us down. And just press that shoulder down and feel the stretch along the neck all the way down to the shoulder. Okay, and now relax. And now tilt your head onto the other side, like almost getting the ear to touch the shoulder, and then raising the other arm up and lowering it. And imagine something pulling your hand down and feel the stretch along here. And relax. How does that feel? How do your shoulders feel now? Are they less tense or still the same? Please type your message and let me know so that I know how it's affected your shoulders. Great. Thank you for your feedback. Less tense, more relaxed. Wonderful. Okay. So now place both your feet on the ground and we're going to do a body scan practice, which we haven't done for quite a while. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes, straighten up your lower back. Take 3 beautiful deep breaths. Fill your body up with lots of fresh oxygen. Feeling grateful that we have very good quality air in Singapore. And now dropping our attention into our feet, wriggling our toes, sensing into the toes, noticing the soles of the feet against the footwear or your socks, sensing into the heels, the ankles, and do all this while your eyes are closed so that you're really connected into different parts of your body. And move your foot side to side and feeling the ankles, relaxing the ankles, top of your feet. And then sliding up the lower parts of your legs and sensing into the calf muscles, the shins. And if you notice your mind being distracted by sound or thoughts, it's okay. Just come back and listen to the instructions that I'm giving. And now sensing into your knees. How do your kneecaps feel? The back of your knees. And sliding up your thighs, noticing your hands placed on your thighs. And if your hands are not on your thighs, you may shift your hands now to be placed on your thighs. And feel the weight of your hands resting on your thigh. You might even sense the heat from your palms being felt by your thighs. And sensing the back of your thighs that's touching against the surface of the chair. And noticing the bum against the surface of the seat. The lower back. And if you sense any tightness or tension there, welcome it. When you welcome it, you actually relax that part. Because in welcoming it, You're no longer trying to get rid of the tension and tightness, and it actually relaxes it. And now sliding up your spine, relaxing the muscles all along the spine. And breathe kindness into your back. Kindness will relax your back. Breathe kindness into the shoulder blades, into the shoulders. And now breathe kindness into your arms and relaxing your biceps, triceps, your elbows, down your forearms into your wrists, your palms. And notice if your palms are damp or dry. Sensing the back of your hands, your knuckles, your fingers and your thumbs. And shifting across into your stomach area. And breathe in the kindness into your stomach to relax all the muscles in the stomach. If you sense any tightness or tension in the stomach, just breathe kindness into it. And then sliding up your chest. And each breath be filled with kindness, filling up your chest area. If there's anxiousness, welcome the anxiousness. Area around your neck. And feel free to move your head side to side or even rotate your head to release any tension in your neck. And breathing kindness into it. Into the jaw. Relaxing the area around your mouth. Noticing your lips. The nose. And notice the air going through the nostrils. Feel the beautiful air, the cool air. Breathing into your nostrils and exhaling warm air out of the nostrils. The cheeks, the eyes. And notice the eyelids against each other. The eyebrows. Across the forehead. And relaxing the frowns. And sense all the tingling sensations on the scalp. Dropping to the back of the neck. And into the breath. And sensing the rise and fall of the chest. And whether you're distracted by a sound or a thought, it's okay, it's normal. And just come back to the breath. And now focusing on 3 more breaths, then opening your eyes and smile. All right, so I'd like to check in with you. How do you feel right now? Love to hear from you. So type your messages and let me know. Much more relaxed. Wonderful. Deeply connected with my body parts. Relax. Great. Great. So I'm glad to know that all of you are feeling more relaxed. And if you're not, please let me know. It's important that this session is really useful and working for you. So if you don't agree that you're feeling more relaxed, please don't hesitate to let me know so that I can address whatever that you may be experiencing at the moment. Okay, another comment here is useful midday break, help to break the distracted mind cycle somewhat. Yeah. Next, a little stiff, else good. Okay, thank you for that. So I'd like to now focus on talking a little bit about how kindness can help us heal. Now, every day we're bombarded with updates on the coronavirus and the restrictions and the changes to how we even socialize, that we have to keep this 1 meter distance from each other, even if it's our loved one, our friends, our colleagues, as we have no idea who may have been infected or being a carrier of the virus. So there's just so much fear that is now around us. This subconscious sense of threat that everybody out there could be carrying um, the virus and could be spreading it to us, and we may get infected. And we need to acknowledge that. It's important that we don't pretend or deny these thoughts that may be somewhere in our subconscious mind, because there's just so much talk and updates on this topic. So it's seeping into every moment of our existence. People having to change their way of working, including going on split teams or having to work from home, discussions on possible job cuts or even salary cuts, because just about every company is being affected by the drop in the revenue of the businesses that's being conducted. So is to remember that, take that deep breath. If there's a job cut in the future, in the horizon, well, it hasn't happened yet. So do you wish to start suffering from that now? Or to let the future arrive and then embrace it? Because if we are really faced with a job cut, more importantly, so take it in with kindness. I may lose my job, or I may be facing a reduction in my pay. What is it that I really need as opposed to want? And what adjustments do I then make in response to this possibility if it happens? It is not definite that it's going to happen. So again, this is our mind running ahead into the future. And usually when our mind runs in the future, it's usually thinking about the things that go wrong, because there's a sense of how do we guard against threats to survive. So be aware of how much of it is healthy consideration of what may happen, and how much of it becomes an obsession that it now affects how we live today in this present moment. This is a bit like taking a trip to do a hike in the wilderness, and being aware of the possible dangers that could arise during our hike, and the obsessive worry about maybe being attacked by a wild animal or being eaten up by a wild animal, being killed by one. So look at this virus as a potential threat, but it's not definite threat. Whether it's to our livelihood, to our what used to be our usual way of conducting our life, is to be aware of the things that we need to change and adjust. And focus on what is it that we can do, first and foremost, to stay healthy. Some of us may even die before the possibility of an infection because we could be knocked down by a car. We could have a heart attack. We could be struck by an illness. Sometimes we forget that there are also other threats that we've been living from day to day. But because we keep reading about coronavirus, the number of infections, the number of deaths, and that just plays in our mind. So this is a time to take in that breath and be kind to ourselves, not to let our mind become completely obsessed with it. So I would like to suggest to you, check the updates probably just twice a day. And if you know that you're being affected by it, that it's even causing you your sleep, don't check it at night. Because whatever is happening, you'll find out tomorrow. Unless your job depends so much on it that you are required to do something about it before you go to sleep. But if there's nothing you can do before going to sleep, don't even check it. Go and watch something else on your computer. Go read a book. Or go out and do something. Spend time catching up with your friends. Do something you enjoy so that we continue to live our life in a higher spirited way. Practice kindness towards everyone. Avoid topics that's just going to bring about more stress. Instead, focus on talking about things that are uplifting. That is being kind to ourselves and being kind to someone else. Practice kind speech towards each other at work. If what we're going to say is not going to uplift someone else, better not to say it. Or reframe it, rephrase it, so that when somebody hears the phrase from us, they're not going to be worse off. Instead, they might be feeling a bit better when they hear from us. It can be even as simple as, "Hey, how are you today? Is there anything I can help you with?" Now, you'll be surprised. By saying the words, "Is there anything I can help you with?" that amazing positive attitude is going to be noticed. And if there are ever going to be job cuts, your positive attitude would be taken in a great consideration before they would even want to put you on the list. Because what companies need or what managers need are people who are positive, who will add to the uplifting atmosphere of a place. But if you go around looking down, wow, things are looking so bad. Wow, this is like end of the world. Look at the number of infections. Wow, look at how our life is being disrupted. Look at all these stupid governments don't know what they're doing. This kind of speech, even just hearing from me as examples, do you notice how it brings down your energy, how you feel glum? Instead, okay, all the governments are trying their best because nobody expected what is happening right now. Nobody even imagined how it's going to change how everybody is going to be living. Universities are even telling their students to go home. Restaurants are stopping their businesses. Apple has asked that all its stores around the world be closed. This is incredible events. And hey, look at it this way, we're living through an amazing moments of history. This will be a tale for us to be able to share with kids who will grow up, who don't really know what's happening right now, but we'll have a story to share with them. I remember going through SARS, and that is what has helped me to be much more prepared this time. How to be much more positive and knowing that whatever's happening now, it will come to an end. Everything has a start and an end, even our life. So we have no idea what's really going to happen next week, next month. So there's no need to imagine the worst. I always want to imagine what could be better and be open to whatever arrives at my door at any time in the moments I live. And that's how I keep myself positive. So I don't go around imagining the worst. I may plan for the worst, but I'm always hopeful for things to be better. So Brown Center is still embarking on setting up its fourth center in Tampines. It is much bigger than all our centers put together, and we're moving ahead with that. We will make some adjustments in terms of how much we will spend on it, but we remain hopeful that this new center in Tampines will be serving the community. Because life will go on. And I would say Singapore has done an amazing job in how it's been able to mitigate the risks and minimizing the number of infections. This may have caused inconvenience to many of us, but to look at it positively. Imagine if we didn't have people assessing, taking decisions, and providing the direction, we would be in a much better, much worse shape than many countries. So look at it positively, that we have very good leadership in place that is guiding us through this unprecedented times, that other governments are looking and saying, wow, let's learn from Singapore. So I feel very proud to be a Singaporean, that we're all part of a nation that is being exemplary. And we're no longer panicking buying toilet paper, no longer panicking to hoard food or anything that now we're seeing other parts of the country going through. So look at the positive side of things. Our children are safe, our healthcare system is intact, and is able to respond to the needs of people who are genuinely unwell. So let's practice kindness. And in kindness, there's a lot of positivity. And in kindness, we heal in body and mind. When our mental wellness is in good shape, our physical health will also be in better shape. So I hope this little talk is helpful to you to focus on this beautiful present moment. I'm still alive. I may have less in the future in terms of money. I just spend less. But I have my health, and my loved ones are safe, and they have their good health too. So focus on the positives. Okay, so I'd like to invite you to share your questions, share your comments, whether this little talk is useful to you. Love to hear from you. And those of you who are on Facebook, I'm not sure if I can see your messages. I'm going to try right now. Okay, let me check whether I can read your comments on Facebook, because today it has successfully gone live. Right, somebody has raised your hand. Would you like to ask a question? Yes, would you like to speak? I can hear you if you speak right now, as you have raised your hand. And I'm checking on Facebook if there are any comments there or questions. Okay, there are 3 comments here. Most of it are comments. So there are thanks so much better, lighter. And someone says, yep, I'm watching you online. Thank you. Thanks for reminding to be grateful and alive. Yes, certainly. We often take our life for granted. So it's important for us to remember, hey, we have our breath, we have good health, we're not in hospital. Let's do something positive with our life. Do something useful. Cheer someone up. Add joy to their life. All right, I have one question here. Okay, so please go ahead and post your questions. I'm happy to answer them. Type them in the chat or type them in the Q&A section. Okay. So the question here is, I began your talk a little bit late, but I'd like to thank you a lot for the very positive talk that you just gave. Thank you very much for your comment. And you can go to Facebook page of Brahm Center and replay this session. You may also replay previous sessions. So they're all available on Facebook Brahm Center page. So please use the resources there, and also the resources that's on brahmcenter.com. In the mindfulness tab, there are also guided mindfulness practices. So welcome if you're joining us for the first time. And I hope that you will continue to join us and find these sessions to be very useful. And share it on your Facebook page so that other people can also benefit from the sessions that we have pre-recorded, or rather recorded from previously. So I have a question here. She's very worried about me going out, and even if I take a lot of precautions and I don't go out much. This is regarding someone's mother's paranoia about the current situation is affecting yourself, and you're trying to be grounded and kind. Well, what's important is that you also need to help people be less worried about us. Because we also cannot have people worrying about us to the point that we feel suffocated. So maybe what you can do is to go out for a short while and says, hey, mom, I'm just going to go out for 15 minutes and I'll be fine when I come back. So start with little amounts of time being away because you don't want to feel like you are stuck at home and you have become a prisoner. So then from 15 minutes, the next time you go out, it can be 20 minutes and then 25 minutes because your mom is so fearful of losing you. And this is like a child having separation anxiety. A child who is being dropped off at childcare has a separation anxiety with the mother. So in this case, because your mother has grown older, it has become the other way around. Great fear of parents losing their children. So understand that fear, assure her, I'll be okay, mom. And if it helps you to put on a mask before you step out of the house to make her feel better, do that. And when you're no longer in her sight, then you can remove the mask and put it away. So do little things that can help assure her. I hope that answer is helpful. Okay, another comment here is agree with your talk and reminding to be mindful. Great, thank you. There's a thin line between thinking about the future, for example, to plan for these better, which is required, for those better, which is required, and overthinking. Absolutely. How do you find the right balance is the question. Well, this is about the awareness, and that's what mindfulness is all about, is to increase the sense of awareness. When we have that level of awareness, we know that when something is being thought about that is helping us to prepare for the future, which is healthy, And noticing when our body becomes really tense, and that is overthinking that is driven by fear. And when it's driven by fear, the stress in our body increases, then we know because the body is communicating to us that it's no longer in the healthy zone. And this is where we need to stop thinking about the future. I'm not going to be able to completely explain this to you, but I would like to refer you to a talk that I conducted last week on explaining the stress response system. So please watch that because it gives you much more explanation as to how it affects our physical body and how the stress response system, when it's activated, it makes our body so tense because it goes into fight and flight mode. So it is that tension in the body that basically is a telling tale that it has become unhealthy. So listen to the body. The body has amazing ability to communicate with us when we're able to sense what is communicating. So when we do the body scan, dropping to our breath, these are techniques that we are using to enhance the ability for us to sense what is going on in our body and our mind. If we can't sense our body, how can we look after it well? If we can't sense what is going on in our mind, how can we look after the mind? Just as when you have a baby, you sense how the baby is feeling, its needs, then we're able to take care of the baby well. So same with this body and mind. Thanks so much for the perspective. Great. Just to let you know how useful these recordings are, I was feeling very down last few days, tightness in the chest and head, etc. And I cope by listening to these videos, including those on YouTube. I feel so much better now. Wonderful. Please continue to use these resources. They are meant to support and to help you. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so now let's do a closing practice if there are no more questions. And also there are no more questions on the Facebook as well, as I'm now able to check the Facebook comments. And if you still have one, please continue to type them. Okay, so now I'd like you to do the connecting with your chest practice by placing a hand on your chest. And take 3 deep breaths. And feel how the chest is feeling right now, whether there's a tightness or tension. And breathe into it. Breathe the kindness into the area where your hand is touching. And you may also sense your heartbeat. May each breath be a breath of kindness. May each breath be relaxing your body more. And each breath soothe your anxiety. May each thought be a thought of kindness. The thought of causing yourself no harm and causing others no harm. May each thought be kind, to show care to others, and to also care for yourself. So breathe into that space beneath your hand. If you feel tightness on your neck or shoulder, you can move your hand to that place instead and breathe into it. As you breathe into that area where your hand is placed on, feel the difference now in terms of whether it's more relaxed, and even the pace of your breathing, your heart rate. And now removing your hand from the chest and just bringing your two palms together and breathe into the palms. So feeling your palms touching each other and breathe into the palms. You may feel your palms relaxing. Let them relax. And you may start to feel that only your fingers are touching each other and no longer the palms. Breathe into the fingers. So focus on the sensations of your fingers touching each other and breathe into that. And now focusing on 3 more beautiful breaths. And slowly opening your eyes and smile. Okay, how do you feel now? So sometimes it's better to just do short practices and they're effective for you than to do long practices and feel like you're struggling with the mind. And I tend to teach different techniques because sometimes different techniques work in different situations so that you have a toolbox, a repertoire of techniques that you can apply at different times in your life. Breathing into your fingers touching each other could be used even in a meeting without closing your eyes. When you start to feel your body tensing up in a meeting because of what's being discussed or people getting very um, difficult or contentious, is that you have now the ability to feel your fingers touching each other and breathing into it so that you don't get sucked in by the conflicts or the confrontations that are happening in front of you. You're able to center yourself by putting your fingers together and just breathing into those fingers. And it's highly effective for you to regain your own calm and composure. Because sometimes people just get so worked up over something because the catastrophe is all built up in the mind. Fear that is sometimes being camouflaged by anger when things don't go our way, when we don't get what we want. And that might be a sense of threat to one's position or one's influence or one's job security. So instead of getting sucked into that, place your fingers together and breathe into it. And this way, you can be more detached. And it's a good reason to be detached. It's like if there's a rope that's around your ankle and the car is about and it's attached to a car and it's about to start its engine and drive off, is to have the awareness to lift your foot out of that rope and not be dragged by the car. So people who get into arguments, into conflicts, confrontation, that's between them. That's the car that's just about to drive off. Take your foot away from that rope that may be attached to that car so you don't get dragged into it or dragged by it. This is how we stay centered. This is part of self-care, being kind to yourself. So I hope that is helpful to have that sense of space, that pause, our breath to keep us grounded. Okay, any questions? Comments? So I'm going to now head off for lunch if there are no questions, and I hope you're feeling better now than when you first started. So I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and have a lovely lunch if you haven't had one yet, and a lovely day ahead of you. Remember, stay in the moment, one moment at a time. That's how we live. Smile. Even though I can't see you, smile, because when you smile, you open up your own hearts. And I can feel it. Great. Thank you, everyone. Bye.